So it is May the 11th, and we are going to call our board meeting to order at 6:10 p.m. Dr. Hooker, if you would call roll.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ms. Heidi Hensley, Ms. Claudia Butts,
Here.
Ms. Linda Davis,
Here.
Dr. Patricia Yeager,
Here.
Mr. Tim Denson,
Here.
Dr. Mumby Anderson,
Here.
Dr. Lakeisha Gant,
Here.
Ms. Nicole Hull, and Mr. Mark Evans.
Thank you. We do have a quorum, so we will move forward to item 3, and this is our silent meditation and pledge of allegiance. If you would first join me for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. If you're able, if you would stand and say the pledge with us. I pledge of allegiance Thank you. We'll move forward to item 2. These are our special recognitions and awards. Dr. Hooker.
Yes, at this time, I'll ask Dr. Cindy Moore to come forth and to present our award winners this afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Hooker, and good evening, Dr. Gant, board members. It's an exciting and busy evening here at the district office, so we'll get started with our recognitions, beginning with our May Employee of the Month. Our Employee of the Month for May is Jacob Bell, kindergarten teacher at Timothy Road Elementary School. Mr. Bell, you and your family and principal may come forward. Mr. Bell is in his second year of teaching. You can just stand up there. But his principal, Cedric Payne, told us he's like a veteran teacher who's been doing this for a very long time. And it's only appropriate as we celebrate National Teacher Appreciation Week that Mr. Bell was nominated by a parent of one of his students who said the student has made significant progress this year through Mr. Bell's instruction, support, and encouragement. She writes, "Every day our son comes home from school excited about his day and filling me with facts about his teacher and about the English language that I, even as a former ELA teacher, did not even know. His reading abilities have exploded, and he went from our pre-reader who knew sight words to a full-fledged reader who can sound out multisyllabic words due to Mr. Bell's support. But more than his academic support, Mr. Bell has helped him become confident and someone who truly looks forward to school each and every day." In his endorsement, Mr. Payne wrote that Mr. Bell has developed a genuine love for learning in all his students. Mr. Bell has the ability to see the whole child and zeal for impactful instruction that addresses the different learning styles of his students. Mr. Bell truly embraces his role as both a teacher and a mentor. His actions demonstrate his ability to relate to his students and their families, which has allowed him to create a bond and a sense of trust. We are truly grateful to have Mr. Bell as a member of the Timothy Road Elementary staff. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating our Employee of the Month, Jacob Bell. Is that your mom? No? And he has his parapro with him. That's a true team. And we learned today that Mr. Bell is working right next door to the student teaching room, the room you did your student teaching, or down the hall? So you've been at Timothy Road for a long time. A little bit. Well, thank you very much and congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, let's have you go up here, and let's have the board come down and just stand around him if you don't mind. This is our final Employee of the Month for May, so we want to send him off nicely. And we'd also, as they are making their way down, like to say thank you to all the members of the CCSD community who nominated more than 150 of our employees across the district throughout this school year. We look forward to receiving many more nomination messages from the community when the nomination period reopens in April. And once again, thanks to the Athens Area Chamber of Commerce and all the local businesses who support our Employee of the Month every month throughout the school year. Thank you very much. You may be seated. It's heavy, be careful. Next, we'd like to recognize a few of our high school students who've been selected to be part of this year's Governor's Honors Program. GHB is a residential summer program for gifted and talented high school students that offers instruction which is different from the typical high school classroom and is designed to provide students with enrichment in their area of talent so that they can become the next generation of global critical thinkers, innovators, and leaders. This year's program will take place at Georgia Southern University from June 18th to July 15th. CCSD had 5 high school students, 3 from Clark Central and 2 from Cedar Shoals, selected as finalists, meaning they are set to participate this summer, and 2 additional students from Clark Central who have been selected as alternates for the 2023 Governor's Honors Program. Congratulations to these students for their exceptional accomplishment. Because it is the end of the year, only one of these students was able to join us tonight, but I'm going to read off all the names and then ask the student who is here to come to the stage and have his photo taken. Congratulations to Ccsd, Clark Central, finalist in Visual Arts. Anna Shaken, Clark Central, finalist in Communicative Arts. Did some more come in? If you hear your name, come on up. Max von Wagendonk, Clark Central, finalist in Engineering and Mechanical Design. Eva Lucero, Cedar Shoals, finalist in Visual Arts. Delia McElhannon, Cedar Shoals, finalist in Agricultural Research, Biotechnology, and Science. And Isabel Duncan, Clark Central, alternate in Dance. And Will Simpson, Clark Central, alternate in Engineering and Programming. And just stand right there. We're going to take your photo. Dr. Hooker, I'll ask you to walk back. A special thank you as well to Jody Bogla at Clark Central and Stephen Castile at Cedar Shoals for their work in coaching these students through the intensive GHP application and interview process. We appreciate your hard work and you being here tonight. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Next, we'd like to recognize many of our students who have successfully passed their Georgia End of Pathway assessments across several of our high school and college pathways. CCSD, Career, Technical, and Agricultural Education Program offers students a sequence of courses and career pathway opportunities grounded in rigorous academic standards and technical skills and knowledge. A primary goal of our CTAE program is to prepare students for regional and local high-wage, high-skill, and in-demand industry sector occupations based on existing and emerging workforce development needs in Athens, Clark County, and surrounding area. In all, this year, we had more than 95 students. So settle in as I call their names. I'm just kidding. Successfully passed their end-of-year pathway assessments, earning a Credential of Value certificate recognized by business and industry. We are joined tonight by many of those students who were here earlier for a reception in their honor to celebrate their accomplishments. Will all the students in attendance tonight and any teachers and staff who had helped them along the way, please stand as I call the school through which you completed your pathway. First, Athens Community Career Academy. Stand. Thank you. Clark Central High School, please stand. And Cedar Shoals High School. Thank you all so much for everything that you do for our students, for Employee of the Month, and that you do in your jobs as students at Clark County School District. And before we wrap up district recognitions tonight, we have two special guests that I'd like to turn the floor over to. Some visitors from the Georgia Department of Education, Mr. Brian Smith and Mr. Justin Hill, who are here to present a very special recognition.
Good evening. Justin Hill, the Associate Superintendent for the Office of Whole Child Supports. And joining me is Mr. Brian Smith, who is our Program Specialist for Whole Child Supports, actually the Whole Child Model Certification Program, and our wraparound supports. I'm here also on behalf of Mr. Richard Woods, our State Superintendent of Schools, to say thank you to Clark County Schools and, of course, Ms. Soraya Felgenhauer for guiding 7 schools towards a pretty significant recognition, being recognized as achieving an engaging level in the Whole Child Model School, a pilot program that we're doing across the state. Those schools to be recognized are Alps Road Elementary School, Howard B. Stroud Elementary, Julia Jackson Harris Elementary, Chase Street Elementary School, Clark Middle School, Clark Central High School, and Cedar Shoals High School. Engaging level for this certification means the following: that you've taken steps to build relationships with students, educators, faculty, parents, and the community to identify their needs, assets, and priorities. For some schools, you have incorporated community partners into your action plan and developed a shared vision to impact student achievement, and they are to be commended. Your Whole Child Model School is providing our students and families with the following: integrated student supports, which means mental and physical health services, addressing food and clothing insecurity, connectedness, and well-being support. Also, expanded learning opportunities with enrichment and academic supports, arts, athletic leadership, STEM and mentoring programs, family and community engagement with focuses on job readiness, employment opportunities, and wraparound for families, community connectedness and partnerships to support the needs of our parents and students. And then finally, collaborative leadership, working in collaboration through a shared vision with your school community, team, coordinators, counselors, educators, administration, and the student body to achieve school strategic goals through the Whole Child Model School strategy. The next level of recognition is the achievement level, and they're on their way. And this achievement level is where we start to see the school outcome data improve because of all the great work our school and community are doing to impact the whole child. Basically, they're laying the foundation to remove the non-academic barriers to students achieving success. And I couldn't be more proud of the hard work that they're doing. Again, Soraya, thank you so much for your guidance. And also, Mr. Smith, thank you so much. A final thank you for completing this school year and preparing to embark on another year of achievement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. And at this time, that completes our recognitions. And those of you who are here for recognitions are free to go if you'd like. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So we are going to move forward with our board announcements. Dr. Hooker, that concludes your special recognitions and awards.
Yes, Madam Chair, it does.
Okay, we'll move forward with board announcements. I'm going to open the floor for my colleagues if there are any announcements that you would like to share at this time, any announcements or celebrations. All right. Moving forward to item 4. This is our public comment. Our policy for public comment can be found in policy BCBI. I'll just highlight a couple of things. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. I'll call your name to come up, and after 3 minutes, the remarks have to be concluded. No speaker can indulge in any personal attacks, and all comments should be directly addressed to the board. And also, at the board meeting, board members will not respond to questions or comments from the public, but the district may respond to public input as needed or appropriate, within 10 working days. Again, that policy and more information can be found in BCBI. Our first speaker for the evening is Paloma Matthew.
I'm very happy to be here tonight to share my thoughts on the Clean and Renewable Energy Resolution for CCSD. In my 12 years of life, I've seen so many changes. I have seen majestic pecans and oaks cut down, taking habitat for many animals with them. Summers have gotten hotter, and there have been days when I couldn't go outside because of bad air quality. So that's why I'm here to ask the school board to consider adopting this resolution to transition CCSD away from fossil fuels and towards renewable energy. If we were to approve this resolution, the air quality for the whole community would improve, and we would be doing our part to fight climate change. Our school district could be a leader, making the future brighter for future generations. On the other side of things, if we did not approve this resolution, our buses would continue to make air quality worse, and we as a district would be continuing to make climate change worse and making the future darker for future generations. In conclusion, I would like to ask the school board to please consider adopting this resolution.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Coles Ehlers.
Hello, my name is Cole Ehlers, and I'm a Clark Central graduate of 2019 and currently a UGA student. I'm also here to speak in support of the resolution. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about a service learning project I participated in this past semester. It was a collaboration with Bernie Harris Lyons Middle School and specifically a group of UGA students going to the after-school program there called the Green Team to learn about sustainability with the students. We had a great time and did things like planting 24 trees around the campus, identifying existing trees, and getting to plan our own lessons, which was a lot of fun. We pretty quickly learned not to underestimate the creativity of middle schoolers. We had one lesson that was designed for them to create their own sustainable cities, and we expected sort of solar panels, and we got dragons, wolves, castles, so it was overall a lot of fun. But overall, through these activities, lessons, and just great bonding time spent, we really did see that these kids are just so passionate about sustainability and enjoyed everything that came at them with a great attitude. At the end of the semester, some of my classmates also conducted a survey, and we saw that by wide majorities, the students had said to the class had not only increased their interest in sustainability, but had also increased their knowledge of different topics and what they would sort of change their behavior moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Songster.
evening, all. I am very excited to be here and excited for the possibility of the board considering and adopting a clean and renewable resolution for Clark County School District. Please note there's an additional letter of support in the packet that Paloma turned in, so just be on the lookout for that. And I just wanted to mention that as you look into the possibilities of this resolution, that ACC has been working on these transitions since 2019 and has offered peer-to-peer discussion with any department to discuss best practices and what has been successful. I also really like to highlight and emphasize this would be the highest use of eSPLOS dollars. Every solar installation using SPLOS money will put money into the general budget by avoiding energy costs. It will start saving the moment panels are producing energy and buffer against assured rise in energy costs moving forward to stabilize the CCSD budget, allowing you to spend more on your core mission, the students. So if you have any questions or need any additional information, please reach out. We'll do the best we can to get you what we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Laura Iyer?
Hello, my name is Laura Iyer, and I'm a small business owner in Athens on 2705 Jefferson Road. It is the office building with 108 solar panels on it. That said, it's no surprise that I'm here to speak in support for the development of the Athens-Clarke County Schools Clean and Renewable Energy Plan. It is exciting times as new laws passed in August 2022 encouraging renewable efforts such as solar panels with at least 30% tax rebates for nonprofits and municipal entities such as schools. Schools have been going solar across the country for a couple of decades and making it work, but with financial incentives and new and free tools to evaluate the project's viability for cost, resilience, and/or reducing climate pollution, we can quickly do feasibility studies to ensure we have a good project that will work and save money. The clean energy revolution is finally upon us, and our youth should be aware of the opportunities that await them. There are many jobs that will follow, as we have already seen in manufacturing, installing, technicians, integrators, sales, engineering, and scientists, and on and on. When I was a kid and most of my adult life, I did not think too much where my energy came from, and certainly was not aware that fossil fuel in the form of greenhouse gas caused climate pollution. Today, children are aware, and we should be doing all we can to show we are moving in the direction of a cleaner future. And in doing so, will enhance their energy literacy so that they can take advantage of the opportunities that will accompany this transition. Case in point, my 20-something children are making a living working in the clean energy industry, one for profit and one for nonprofit realm, and sharing the paths with others their age who are ready to make a difference. They are concerned. But the 8-year-olds, they just think it's cool. A co-worker's son, Walker, who is in his 2nd grade, is obsessed with solar panels. And so we took pictures of our array on our office with a drone so he could take his pictures to school for show and tell. Electric cars, solar panels, wind turbines are exciting and speak to something new in the future. And there is an enthusiastic group of people in our school who will thank us for it. Saving money, resilience, and/or cleaner climate is icing on the cake. Please support the development of the Athens-Clarke County School Clean and Renewable Energy Plan and soon convene a task force. The task force shall include district budget, facilities, transportation, custodial, equity professionals, students and teachers, and clean energy experts, deemed helpful in realizing the long-term goals of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Ramsey Nix?
Hello, Dr. Hooker and board members. Thank you so much for hearing us out this afternoon. My name is Ramsey Nix, and I have two kids who ride the bus and attend Chase Street Elementary School. I first learned about climate change when I was in the 8th grade, and I'll never forget my wonderful science teacher at my wonderful public school in Atlanta drawing for us the projections of what our future might look like if we did not wean ourselves off of fossil fuels. That was more than 30 years ago, and unfortunately, average temperatures have already risen by 2 degrees. And so many of my kids' classmates suffer from asthma due to poor air quality. And while more people than ever care about climate change and we're making individual efforts to reduce our carbon footprint, we have yet to make the systemic change necessary to reduce the greenhouse gases that come from burning fossil fuels. And now my own son is going to middle school next year. And I know that some amazing teacher is going to tell him the truth about climate change. But I want his experience to be different from mine. I want him to understand the problem and to know that there is a system, the system that he most relies on, CCSD, that is doing something to address it. Imagine what that would do for him, what that would do for all of our students. Change is hard. Systemic change is even harder. But change is also inevitable, and I am so lucky to live in this community because it is a compassionate, progressive community that is not afraid to pioneer positive change. Our local government already took the step, the very bold step, toward adopting a 100% clean and renewable energy resolution for all public facilities. Our schools and buses are public facilities, so we urge you to do the same. Thank you for considering CCSD's very own clean and renewable energy resolution. Let's make our school district a sustainable success story. Thank you.
Thank you. Chaplain Cole Napper.
I'm a fan of solar. Good evening, Dr. Hooker, Dr. Gant, and distinguished board members. I was just an 8-year-old third grader at Whitehead Road Elementary School in 1979 when former president and Georgia native Jimmy Carter pledged to conduct the moral equivalent of war against the energy crisis. As he installed solar panels on the roof of the White House, he declared that a generation from now, this solar heater can either be a curiosity, a museum piece, an example of a road not taken, or it can be a small part of one of the greatest and most exciting adventures ever undertaken by the American people. Unfortunately, just a few years later, under a new and far less progressive administration, the solar panels were removed from the White House. But now, almost 50 years later, America and the world are dealing with the impact of its refusal to adequately address climate change when we had the opportunity. We are living a life of denial in the face of science, which shows us more frequent and intense rainstorms, catastrophic flooding, tornadoes, unbelievable heat waves, rising sea levels, melting glaciers, and warming oceans, which directly harm our wildlife, destroying the places we live, and wreaking havoc on people's livelihoods and the communities all over the world. I'm speaking to you tonight to express my strong support for the resolution or the adoption of the Athens-Clarke County Clean and Renewable Energy Plan resolution. As a chaplain and an educator who cares deeply about the health and well-being of our community, I believe that we must take swift action to address the threat of climate change and to protect the health of the students and the employees of the Clark County School District. By transitioning to clean, renewable energy sources, we can help advance our commitment to equity by addressing climate change and air pollution, which we know disproportionately impacts low-income Black and brown communities. Athens is home to the state's flagship university, the University of Georgia, here in my hometown. And as you all know, there's an old saying that goes, if you can change Athens, Georgia, you can change the world. You all, each of you, represent this generation's best and brightest leaders, and you are being called to lead during this time, the most important moment in our nation's history. Athens, Georgia is a place where we can have the chance to be the change that we want to see in the world. So tonight, I'm asking the school board to facilitate assembling a task force to develop an implementation plan and accountability process to meet the goals of the Athens-Clarke County Clean and Renewable Energy Plan resolution. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. David Weber.
Good evening, Dr. Hooker and distinguished board members. My name is David Weber, and I'm a master's student at the University of Georgia studying wildlife sciences, and I'm also a member of Sunrise Athens. I'm here to speak in support of the Clean Energy Resolution for the Clark County School District. Students in Clark County deserve a future free from avoidable climate disasters. The recent synthesis report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change warns that there is a rapidly closing window of opportunity to secure a livable and sustainable future for all. Clark County schools should show leadership in the fight for a sustainable future by transitioning away from dirty fossil fuels and towards clean energy. I'm part of a coalition of University of Georgia students calling on our school to commit to achieving 100% clean and renewable energy by 2035, in line with goals outlined in the Athens-Clarke County 100% Clean and Renewable Energy Plan. It would mean so much to us to see the Clark County School District join a unified commitment from the entire community to a just and equitable transition to clean energy. The University of Georgia has already had great success in transitioning its bus fleet from diesel to electric. UGA now has more than 30 electric buses. These 40-foot electric buses emit no tailpipe pollution and have lower operating costs than diesel-powered buses, representing a tremendous step forward in reducing emissions and increasing opportunities for experiential learning and research. Energy costs for the new zero-emission buses total about $10 per bus per day, while the current diesel buses cost about $100 per bus per day. Yearly maintenance costs have decreased from $22,000 to roughly $7,500 per bus. According to the EPA, older, more polluting school buses can lead to significant health risks for students. Children are more susceptible to air pollution than healthy adults because their respiratory systems are still developing and they have faster breathing rates. Asthma, which affects 6.3 million American school children, is the most common long-term childhood disease in America, making newer, cleaner buses an urgent priority. Expanding solar power generation in Clark County schools will also provide health benefits to students by reducing air pollution and provide cost savings to the district in the long run. By building out solar, schools would produce their own energy rather than having to buy energy from Georgia Power, whose electricity rates will increase by 11.7% over the next 3 years. Transitioning to clean and renewable energy is not just about reducing the school district's carbon footprint. It's about taking responsibility for our impact on the planet, our students, and our community. It's about investing in a sustainable future for all. I hope Clark County schools will do what is best for the students by supporting this clean and renewable energy resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. John Parrish. John Parrish is not here. Okay. David Kiefer.
So thank you in advance for your time this evening. My name is Dave Kiefer. I'm the first of several speakers who are here tonight to advocate for a rappel tower for the Clark Central High School JROTC program. You may recall at the last board meeting that 2 cadets presented on this topic, and tonight we're here just to add a little more context around the request. Now, I've been associated with the JROTC program for about 5 years. I'm the parent of 2 cadets. My daughter was with the program for 4 years. She's now studying biochemistry at UGA. And my son is a rising junior who's been with the program for 2 years. He wants to study engineering at either the Naval Academy or West Point. Some of you may not be very familiar with JROTC. I know I certainly wasn't. There was no JROTC program where I grew up, but I wish there was. The program serves a large portion of the student body. The average enrollment's between 150 and 200 students, and the cadets are diverse by gender, background, ethnicity. They're really representative of the student body and also the community. The cadets are called upon for many school and community functions. It's really too long of a list to fully list here, but examples include Special Olympics, Quilts of Valor for Veterans, the Kiwanis Teen Driving Rodeo, color guard for community functions, and a lot more. And they show up usually in uniform and act as ambassadors for the JROTC program, the high school, Clark County School District, and really the Athens community at large. You're going to find out these young people are inspiring. They are courteous, they are respectful, professional, they're well-spoken. And their plan isn't to just graduate. Graduation is just one step in a bigger plan and on their path to success. Now, I keep referring to JROTC as a program because it's truly more than just a class. I mean, these cadets learn life skills that they don't get in any other class and maybe not even at home. It's a truly unique space where they're accepted for who they are, but they are constantly challenged every day to be who they're capable of being. They're challenged to adapt, overcome, find their inner bravery, and whether it be a mental challenge like public speaking or a physical challenge like rappelling. Now, I understand the board needs to manage multiple funding requests for many worthwhile projects. I'm asking you to give a strong consideration to funding this piece of equipment for this program. It's no different than asking for tackling dummies or lights for a sports program or audio video for performing arts. This is a one-time investment. It doesn't require oil changes, software updates, it doesn't become obsolete, and it doesn't draw a salary, and there's already pre-existing structures that are available. So I use the word to invest because this is something that will benefit the program, the cadets, and ultimately all of us for years to come as these become our next citizens and leaders in the community. So let me turn it over to the cadets now, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Daoud Delane.
Good evening. My name is Daoud Delane. I'm a senior at Clark Central High School. I attend Athens Community Career Academy, and I also enroll with Athens Technical College. I am the 6th of 7 siblings and the 4th of 5 Delanes who participated in the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, also known as JRTC. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the JRTC student body on the matters of a rappel tower. I can go on and talk about how much I am involved in the community, but I'd like to talk a little bit about myself first. Growing up, I've always been the type of person who wanted to be involved and do everything possible. I want to be a cardiologist, I want to serve in the military, I want to be a chef, I want to own a farm and have my own animals, a dive Olympian, a zookeeper, and just many, many more. I feel like this is what high school is about, experience and opportunities to find yourself through programs and activities. For example, Athens Community Career Academy. The Bus Cafe is a student-run cafe where students can serve a variety of baked goods and drinks to other students for a cheap price. Here's an example of an exchange of cash for experience. Inside my Pathway Nursing, we have funded artificial patients that students like me use and practice on a daily basis, another financial substructure to benefit your students. At ACCA, students are provided with expensive cameras, new MacBook desktops, patient care beds and patients, new hair salon chairs, and different types of utensils for culinary. The rappel tower is a learning instrument just like those listed and should be viewed as such. JRTC provided many chances for other organizations to succeed through the implication of teamwork. Every year or so, teacher and coach Ms. Scott sends an email to our instructors and asks permission to take the volleyball team to our obstacle course to enhance their teamwork and communication skills. I can envision the rappel tower being a gigantic icebreaker and tool for staff as well. Getting to know one another and building trust among community leaders is critical for students and parents in our town. All this aside, I really do believe the rappel tower would be a great addition to the program and a better one for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew Zavaleta.
Good evening, Dr. Hooker and Dr. Gant and members of the board. As you heard, my name is Matthew Zavaleta, and I am a Clark Central High School junior. I am the Command Sergeant Major of the JRTC program, which means I am the highest ranking junior and most responsible for juniors. I've been in the program for all 3 years, and I love it, so I'm gonna continue it my senior year. After high school, I do plan on joining in the military. The JRTC program has prepared me and still is preparing me for after high school. Last year in the summer, I attended the leadership summer program named JCLC. It teaches you how to be more of a leader, how to think fast on your feet, and always come out with good choices and decisions. But I'm here to advocate for the approval of a 45-foot rappel tower and rock climbing wall. The JRTC program is a hands-on program we'll take outside of our JRTC classroom. Yes, we have a building, but we love to go outside. For example, our obstacle course, our rope bridge area. We use that all the time when we have to tie off knots and ropes. But we have one thing missing, the rappel tower. The rappel tower is when we're in the class. We teach our students, or what we call cadets, how to tie these knots every day, how to use them, how to secure them, know when something is wrong. But without that rappel tower, they don't get the experience of going down, actually seeing the signs of real life situations. Last year, I remember that we went to Cedar Shoals to use their 25-foot rappel tower, just for the experience for the cadets, to see and feel how it is. I remember it being the best thing ever. Yes, I was afraid, but after doing it, it pushed me to be a better person, not to be scared, to overcome my fears. It teaches cadets to be more risk-taking because, one, that is in life. In life, you have to take risks. Learning these skills will help them take risk in life and understand what to do. I know that this rappel tower will be the best thing and a good investment of our East Blouse funds for the cadets. Thank you.
Thank you. Retired Colonel Eric Cleveland.
Good evening, Dr. Hooker, Dr. Gant, distinguished board members. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to come up here and speak. I was the senior Army instructor at Cedar Shoals High School for 10 years and an Army-trained rappel master. And in that time, I rappelled thousands of kids down the walls, both at Cedar Shoals, at Elbert County, at Riverside, anywhere that they needed a rappel master to do it. And just like all the military branches use rappelling as a confidence builder. It's a great tool, not that a clerk typist or a mechanic or a tanker is ever going to need to rappel in their career, but it's a great tool to teach that person confidence. And when you take a high school kid, they're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, and you put them on the top of this platform, and they know what gravity is, and they look down, you're providing them with what for some of them is a soul-searingly terrifying experience that they can then trust in their training, trust in their equipment, trust in their instructor, trust in themselves, and back up that wall and go backwards off that wall, or jump off it, depending on which one you build. If you build this tower, build a 25-foot platform, a 50-foot platform, flat wall, sloping wall, helicopter rappel, with a rock climbing wall on it, then you provide these kids with basic, intermediate, and advanced level rappelling, which you can then work up those levels of fear that they can then conquer as you work them up to conquering those fears. Plus, every time I rappelled at Cedar Shoals, I sent an email out to all the teachers and said, hey, bring your class by if you can. And occasionally, you had a teacher that had some time that they could do that. And I would take the Spanish class or the biology class, whoever, and teach them how to rappel and rappel those kids off that towers. And when I tell you, when those kids went back to their class, their teacher was the best teacher in the world because they took them outside to go rappel that day. And so if you build a tower for these kids, one, it's a great opportunity to challenge them. And it's also a lot of fun. And everything you can do to bring more fun into school, it's not a bad thing, is it? Then they want to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Janine Delaney.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Hooker, Dr. Gant, and distinguished board members. My name is Janine Delane, and I am a parent of 5 JROT students of Clark Central, as well as our acting Booster Club president. And so just in wrapping up our presentation tonight, we just strongly ask that you consider the needs and the benefits of the Clark Central Rappel Tower project, of which our staff and Booster Club leadership have also presented before the East Splosh Committee. We understand that there are many competing projects, but do feel that the affordability of this project, as well as the long-term benefits for CCS students, make this project a strong effort of consideration. We have submitted, in addition to our presentations tonight, a multitude of support for the record from other community members who could not be with us today. And as you may or may not know or heard through the news, you know, our sporting teams, both our drill and Raider, was fortunate enough to go to state to represent our school district and also brought home first place awards back to our CCSD community. And this just speaks to the hard work of our instructional staff and the emphasis that we do place on our physical development for our students. And so with that, you can rest assured that this investment in this Rappel Tower project would be greatly used. One of our mottos is be ready so we don't have to get ready. So having this tower would not just be a seasonal effort. We prepare our students all throughout the year for their Raider team efforts and their sports efforts. Drill starts months in advance. Raider starts months in advance. So the Rappel Tower would be something that wouldn't just be a 1 or 2 time a year effort in our school. It would be something that would be used for leadership and physical training throughout the whole school year. So it would definitely be a project that will be strongly utilized. And just like I said, the benefits of the program are just you've heard it all tonight. You've seen our students, and it prepares them far beyond the classroom into all of the leadership activities that they'll come into experience. So facing those fears, overcoming those obstacles are what we're here to do, and we're hoping that you'll keep this project on the table and help us to get this for our students. And so thank you very much for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Karina Gallagher.
Hello. So I want to start off by saying I support the clean and renewable energy resolution and action, if y'all choose to support that, and the tower for the ROTC at Clark Central. I'd like to ask that we take some time to ask students about pathways and how they worked out this year so that we can make a more informed decision about future pathways for students. If we could take some time and reassess how we are doing work-based learning and the busy work that students are required to do, and do that from the perspective of the students. If we could, at some point, look at getting a district-wide athletic director. That wouldn't just provide equity across the board for our district, but it would also ensure that our students feel supported post-high school, which we don't currently have any support for our student athletes. And I wanted to share some bills that y'all may or may not know about. So in April, SB 211 required local school systems to develop and implement a 5-year literacy plan, such as school systems, individual literacy plans for students kindergarten through grade 5. HB 147 to require intruder alert drills at all public schools in the state. Require public schools to report a completion of such drills to the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, and provide parents and guardians with an opt-out option. And then May 3rd, SB 193 to provide the Department of Community Affairs to determine locations that are eligible for state and federal funding programs administered by the state to improve broadband services. So if we could really work with Clark County government to ensure that we have broadband services across Athens. If we could educate parents on student options, such as option B, Foothills. I don't know what's gonna happen with Classic City, but before the next school year, if we can make sure that parents are informed about their options. And I support an alternative to what we are currently doing in education, not the movement mortgage thing, but definitely exploring with other smaller schools like Joy Village. Thank you.
Thank you. Caleb Gallagher.
Good evening. I'm Caleb Gallagher. I attend the Career Academy and my home school being Cedar Shoals. I didn't want to come speak to y'all today, but my mom said they need to hear from someone that's not me. Then I thought about it. Why does it have to be me? Why can't other kids come speak? It's because the majority can't read. So I stand here to tell you to do a reset. Actually teach kids how to read. I've gone from person to person, telling which word associates with which feeling, giving out definitions like I'm a dictionary. I'm tired of going to school and being head of the people that are older than me. Stop coming here spending money on things that solve your mundane problems. You're putting a moratorium on kids' futures that you very well control. So don't go bolstering your strategies that don't do anything but hold the sustainability of our communities. Be better, futures are at stake. Comprehension is a skill needed at all levels. I've had a total lack of that since I left elementary school. Comprehension isn't something easily taught, which is why it should be a focal point for students and teachers. We should hire more tutors and help students feel comfortable asking for help. As a future therapist and a student, I understand the stress asking for help in school as a whole can cause. So in summary, I would like to ask for attention to comprehension and more understanding towards the stress school can cause students. Also, we are 10th on the illiterate states in all of the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Adriana Arellano Salcedo.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Adriana Arellano Salcedo. I'm a junior at Clark Central High School, and I'm here to talk about the Clean and Renewable Energy Initiative. We all know that our planet is at risk, and it's our responsibility to take action before it's too late. The good news is that we can make a difference, and it starts with the choices we make every day. One of the choices we can make is to implement the clean and renewable energy plan being proposed today. By doing so, we will be making a huge impact on the environment while providing a new way for us, students, to learn and grow. This resolution is a commitment to implementing energy efficiency measures and reducing energy consumption. For less than the cost of a new school, CCSD could begin to implement solar arrays over a 5-year period throughout the district. Solar panels are a clean renewable energy source that can help reduce our carbon footprint and promote sustainability. By installing solar panels in our schools, we can reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and help protect our planet for future generations. Moreover, solar panels offer a unique opportunity to transform the way we learn and grow. Imagine learning about renewable energy sources by seeing them in action right outside our classroom windows. Imagine having the opportunity to experiment with solar power in science class, or to study the way solar energy is changing the world in social studies. With solar panels in all schools, with a clean and renewable energy plan, the possibilities are endless. Of course, installing solar panels in schools requires an initial investment. However, the long-term benefits are undeniable. Not only will we be helping to protect the environment, but we will also be saving money on energy costs in the long run, which can be invested in all school areas. It is time for us to take action and make a difference. By endorsing the Clean and Renewable Energy Plan, we can promote sustainability, learn about renewable energy, and protect our planet for future generations. Let's make the right choice today and help create a brighter, cleaner, and more sustainable future for us all. Thank you.
Thank you. Dylan Mojok.
Good evening to the members of the board and everyone else present today. My name is Dylan Mojok, and I'm a junior at Clark Central High School. We're here today to offer a moment to envision a cleaner and more sustainable future for our schools. The Clark County School District has over 12,000 students enrolled in its schools. We're fortunate enough to have free meals for all students, but that much food containing the wrong components is setting kids up for a less environmentally friendly view on what they eat for the rest of their lives. Studies have shown that less animal protein and more whole grains in school lunches are two of the biggest ways we can create a healthier diet for students and for the environment. Offering more plant-based protein alternatives for lunch would lower environmental damages and accommodate for the lack of many vitamins, minerals, and other micronutrients growing children require. Food insecurity is a high risk for many students in our county, and unwholesome foods provided in school will only add to a more non-nutritive diet. We would like to suggest starting a group comprised of students, teachers, and administrators to start a discussion with those in control of the nutritional planning process of our district. Creating a conversation about what foods we can incorporate, where we can better source our ingredients, and balancing the nutrients of every meal offered will lead to a healthier and more sustainable future for our students. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Tatiana Tolley.
Hello, members of the board and everyone. My name is Tatiana Talley. I am a rising senior at Cedar Shoals High School and Athens Community Career Academy and dual enrolled at Athens Technical College. The environment is important to me because it plays a significant role. The environment gives us benefits that we need to live, of course. Our food, water, air, trees, etc. These are essential to life, and if we don't take care of them, we could lose these components. The environment should be a beautiful place for our friends, family, and community. Therefore, we need to address some issues. One of them is climate change. Climate change is becoming an increasing threat to human existence both globally and locally, and we must take immediate action. The use of fossil fuels to power buildings, transportation, produces greenhouse gas emissions that cause climate change. Greenhouse gases also contribute in indoor and outdoor air pollution, which impacts students' health, particularly the youngest students. Imagine the impact our district could have if we eliminated our greenhouse gases, and we have to take action in order to have a sustainable future for our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dr. Tawana Maddox.
Good evening, Dr. Hooker, Dr. Gant, and the board. I'm here to lift up a few things this evening. I'm ecstatic to be selected for the Classic City High School Local School Governance Team. I hope you had the opportunity to view the slideshow I shared with you, which highlights all of the excellent work Dr. Majors, the principal, and her staff are doing to facilitate the academic success and lifelong success of students enrolled at the high school. I hope as a board and district, an assessment of needs and true budgeted commitments are made to help Classic City High School thrive. In addition to more teachers, a full-time SRO, because their alternative school is positioned downstairs, additional special education support, and partnering with the high school to create a marketing campaign to share with parents who are looking for another route for students who will benefit. Classic City High School students want the same opportunities as other high school students, a good environment and a positive identity. The principal and staff listened. They spirified the building in their school colors, 3D paintings of their values, affirmations, and a picture of their mascot. Not having their building space after school is challenging, but they are working through all barriers and by adding clubs such as FBLA, HOSA, and tutoring. They have taken meaningful field trips also. Students didn't have a prom, but staff came together and made sure the students had a senior picture day, attended a formal senior day, and through community partnerships, they continue to expose students to areas that would benefit them now and in the future. The students are also performing better and graduating. We are counting on you to serve all children in CCSD. The decisions we make today will be reflected in all of our futures, as they will be our leaders and caretakers. There are challenges like any high school, but the glass is half full. Next, I want to voice my support of adopting the Clean and Renewable Energy Plan for Clark County School District. As a member of the mayor's former Clean and Renewable Energy Task Force, I realize the importance to educate my community. As I am learning to do better, I will promote better. The Clark County School District is in a unique position to positively influence these outcomes. In addition, these efforts will work in a manner to redress historical inequities in our community by facilitating energy efficiency upgrades and opportunities for clean transportation across the entire community. We have a moral and civic duty to ensure the most vulnerable communities are prepared at the earliest available opportunity in order for clean energy to be equitable and just for Black and brown communities. Thank you.
All right, according to my records, that concludes our comments. Just as a reminder, I want to thank everyone that spoke and say that the district may respond to that public input as needed or as appropriate within 10 working days. Thank you. Before we move forward to item 5, which is amending and or adopting the agenda, we are going to take a 5-minute break. And so it is 7:16. We will continue at 7:21. Thank you. We are going to resume our meeting. We are at item 5. This is to amend and/or adopt the agenda. The floor is open.
Chair, I'll move to adopt the agenda with the amendment of adding action items 5, 6, 7, and 8 to the consent agenda, which are items that I had removed prior.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to adopt an amended agenda with items 5, 6, 7, and 8 added to the consent agenda. And we have a second. Is there any follow-up conversation or discussions? Okay, and let me just make a note here also. Ms. Hensley has joined us. She's used her call-in option, and so she's on the phone. Is there any further discussion? I see. Okay, all in favor of adopting an amended agenda with items 5, 6, 7, and 8 added to the consent agenda, if you would, raise your hands and say aye. Aye.
I say aye.
Okay. Any opposed? I think that was everyone, right? It was unanimous. Okay, so that motion passes 8-0. We will move forward. So we have our agenda, our amended agenda before us with the board president's report. The only thing I'll mention, and this is already something that's on item 12, I sent out an email to the board just letting you know that I had shared your questions with Mayor Gertz, and that he will be in the process of gathering that information for us. I was assuming it may be here by today, but we're not taking action on the intergovernmental agreement tonight. It's more so the agreement to move forward. And so I will check back in with him. I do meet with him tomorrow, as I mentioned in the email, to talk more about the steering committee, and I will report back out that information. But at this time, that's the only thing that I have. Dr. Anderson, can you think of anything?
I'll just give an update of the board norms, revisions that I sent out after last week's meeting. I didn't get any feedback for making any changes, amendments, so it appears as though everyone is unanimous that the language that was adopted is sufficient and represents the meeting, the retreat that we had. Is that correct? I'm sorry? The board norms? Okay. All right, great. So I think we can move forward to adopt them.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's it for my report. We'll move forward to item 7. Dr. Hooker, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll begin my remarks this evening with recognition. Yesterday, May 10th, was National School Nurse Day. We're very fortunate to have an amazing school nurses at our school, as well as at our 2 health centers, the Hillsman Health Center and the Clark Middle Health Center. All are led by Ms. Amy Rourke, our CCSD's Director of Nursing. Congratulations to all of those recognized this evening, from students to staff members to our Employee of the Month, kindergarten teacher, Mr. Jason Bell. We appreciate all you do for our students. Not with us this evening, but equally as worthy of recognition, is Miss Ella Johnson, a senior at Cedar Shoals High School. Ella was offered and has accepted the University of Georgia Foundation Fellowship. The Foundation Fellowship is the university's top academic scholarship and provides full academic funding, stipends for travel, study, and research and conference grants. Out of UGA's incoming class of more than 6,000 new first-year students, fewer than 30 will enter as a Foundation's Fellow. According to UGA, the 39 finalists for the Foundation Fellow represented 38 high schools across 9 states. Ella also attended Whit Davis and Hillsman Middle, Congratulations, Ella. I'm also pleased to share with you that the National Association of Music Merchants has once again awarded Clark County School District with the Best Communities for Music Education Award. The award recognized districts for providing outstanding support of music education and enriching the lives of children while advancing human achievement. As a reminder, our 2023 retirees will be honored at a retirement dinner next Tuesday, May the 16th. All board members are, of course, invited to attend to help us celebrate this group of dedicated professionals who between them have hundreds of years of service in CCSD. We look forward to a night honoring those who have dedicated their work lives to our students. Next, as you all know, we've decided to keep our school start times the same for the 23-24 school year. We received more than 530 comments from parents, teachers, students, and community members, and we are very grateful for their input and suggestions. We will continue to study this issue surrounding bus routes and continuing bus drivers shortage to find solutions. And my last comment, and of course, this weekend we celebrate Mother's Day with a huge thank you to all of the moms that make up CCSD. That concludes my announcements for today.
Thank you, Dr. Hooker. We'll move forward to item 8, which are our action items. The first thing is policy IFCD. The floor is open for a motion. This is our policy on volunteers.
I'll make a motion for us to accept the recommended revisions.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Denson, a second by Ms. Hall. Any follow-up discussion? All in favor of adopting policy IFCD, if you would, raise your hands and say aye. Aye.
I say aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 8-1. We'll move forward to item 2, the Personnel Board Report. The floor is open.
I move that we accept the board personnel report as presented.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Hall, second by Ms. Butts. Any follow-up questions or discussion? All in favor of approving the board personnel report, if you would, raise your hands and say aye. Aye.
I say aye.
Any opposed, the same signs. That motion passes. We'll move forward to item 3, our Personnel Board Report Addendum. The floor is open for a motion.
I move that we accept the board personnel report addendum as items 3 and item action number 4, the contract list, as presented.
Okay, and so we have a motion on the floor to approve and accept items 3 and 4. Those are, 3 is the Personnel Board Report Addendum. 4 is the contract list.
I second.
Okay, we have a second by Ms. Butts. Any follow-up conversation or discussion? All in favor of approving items 3 and 4, our Personnel Board Report Addendum and contract list, if you would, raise your hands and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same signs. Okay, that motion carries 8-0. Moving forward to our item 5, the Head Start, Early Head Start Continuation Grant Application Review and the intent to apply. The floor is open.
I move that we approve the Head Start, Early Head Start Continuation Grant Application Review.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dr. Yeager, a second by Ms. Davis, and just making sure if you refresh, it should show up as amended. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Yep. So we have that motion in the second. Any additional follow-up discussion there?
I will just say, from sitting on the Head Start and Early Head Start Policy Committee, I got to get some pretty in-depth reviews about this application, and there are some decent changes that they're having to try to make just to get things to work, but it's been very well thought out and a good team put together. So.
All right. So all in favor of approving the Head Start, Early Head Start, grant application review and intent to apply, if you would, raise your hands and say aye.
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 All right. Any opposed, the same signs? Okay. That motion passes 8-0. Moving forward to item 6, which is our March FY23 financial report. The floor is open.
I move that we accept the March FY23 financial report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Denson, a second by Mrs. Hall. Any follow-up discussions? All in favor of approving our March FY23 financial report, if you would, raise your hands and say aye.
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 Any opposed, the same signs? Okay, that motion passes. We'll move forward to item 11. This is our tentative FY24 budget approval. The floor is open.
I move that we accept the tentative FY24 budget approval as presented.
And let me correct myself, that is item 7.
Sorry.
That's okay, I was looking at 2 different agendas, but it's item 7. Ms. Hall, does that motion still stand?
Yes, it does.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the tentative FY24 budget approval.
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Hall, a second by Ms. Butts. The floor is open for any follow-up discussions or questions. And I may start with Ms. Hall, if you have any questions or follow-up discussions, and we'll just sort of circle around since you were the original maker of the motion.
Thank you. I do not.
Okay. Dr. Anderson, do you have any?
I do not.
Ms. Butts?
I do not.
Thank you. Ms. Davis?
Yes, I'd like to, normally we can also get this spreadsheet that gives us more detail on the budget. Are we going to have that available to us this year?
Thank you, Ms. Davis, for that question. Mr. Schuneman had prepared this budget before his departure. As far as getting more details, I'll work with Dr. Whitaker and see if we can provide that information for you within the next week or 2. We'll have it before we approve the budget.
Thank you, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Yeager?
I've had a lot of people thank me for my points about fine arts funding last week, and I just want to reiterate that I think $100,000 for 12,000 kids is not enough money for supporting the fine arts.
And Dr. Yeager, I want you to know that we took the suggestion that Mr. Dan Smith is reaching out to our fine arts individuals to see what they need. But I've also spoken to fine arts people, and they've been very appreciative of the new instruments and the new things that they've received. So he is on that and getting us a spreadsheet as to what they're requiring. So you're welcome.
Mr. Denson?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I agree and I appreciate Ms. Davis bringing up, because at this point it is pretty bare bones what we're voting on here. Like Like, I actually can't find out exactly where the fine arts funding is because it's not listed anywhere in this document. I appreciate that you bringing it up last week. I was like, it's not in here. So I definitely would like to see that. And I guess with that, I am a little uncomfortable voting in approval, but I guess this whole voting on a tentative budget is kind of bizarre to me anyways. I have to admit, when you're tentatively voting to approve something and then you have to actually approve it later. So I'm a little bit uncertain about that. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure if I feel comfortable approving it without seeing some of those possible changes that are there. But yeah, that's just where I'm at.
Okay, thank you. I think the only follow-up, oh, sorry, Dr. Yeager?
I guess to answer Tim's question, what is the process if there will be changes between now and the final approval? Is there a process for that? Or this, I understand this is mostly to get us to the point of presenting it to the community and getting community feedback.
And Dr. Whitaker and Mr. Pruitt, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's, as you said, it's a tentative budget, and if we need to make any changes, we will share that with you. So I think we're in the right preview as to what we're doing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Davis?
Let me think about how I want to phrase that question. I may just put it in writing so that I can cover all my points. Thank you.
Okay. And I have just a couple of follow-up questions, but I will put them also in writing. It's just related to fine arts, just to express some support for that, and wondering where the rappel tower may fit in this budget. And I think, and you may have already answered it, I haven't checked the document, and so I'm happy to put those in writing as well.
And I can share with you, Mr. Gilbert and myself have met with COC. Again, it's still on our list of things, but we have to prioritize based upon the cost for the repairs of the roofs and the other issues that are top priorities at this time. We have not neglected it, but we have to look at how much we have to spend, and if there's enough left, we'll be able to do so.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Denson?
Thank you. And I guess just to follow up on a question on last week and then from our small budget sessions, has staff looked at it all about the possibilities of increasing the bus driver salaries and also the parapro salaries? Has that been discussed at all?
And we have, as we look around the Northeast Georgia and others, with this tentative budget that we have, I believe we lead the Northeast Georgia in paying our paraprofessionals. We're second when it comes to paying, as far as paying for bus drivers, and the district that leads us in paying for bus drivers also has an issue with shortage of bus drivers. So we're second behind, I believe, only one school district in Northeast Georgia. And having conversations with our transportation department on Monday, I believe we met with the transportation department. When we told them about the increases, they were very excited and said this could be a game changer for us in getting more bus drivers just by increasing it to that rate. They were very appreciative, and there are other initiatives we're looking to support them in order to attract more bus drivers. So we did listen to the upper level, am I correct, Dr. Askew, of the transportation department. We had a meeting with them as well concerning this issue.
All right. So we have our tentative FY 24 budget approval. We have okay, thank you. We had our motion and our second. Before we take action, just being sure there are no additional questions. Okay, all in favor of approving the tentative FY 24 budget approval. If you would, raise your hands and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same signs? Okay. So I have 5-3, is that correct? Ms. Palmer, is that what you got?
That's what I have.
Ms. Hull, which way did you vote? Okay. 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 Thank you. So that motion passes. The vote was 5-3. Okay. We will move forward to item 12. And this is the approval to move forward in developing an intergovernmental agreement with ACC. The floor is open. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, item 8.
So moved.
Second?
Was that Dr. Yeager for a second? Oh, okay. We have a motion by Mr. Denson, a second by Ms. Davis. Follow-up discussion. All in favor of approving, moving forward in developing an IGA with ACC government, if you would raise your hands and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same signs? Okay, that motion carries 8-0. Based on my agenda, that brings us to our consent agenda. Is that correct? Okay. The floor is open for a motion.
I so move.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Davis, a second by Ms. Hull. This is our consent agenda, so we won't have any further discussion. All in favor of approving the items listed on our consent agenda, just for the public record, that is approval of minutes on April 13th, field trips, policy IDE, policy EEE, policy DJE, approving the combined work session and board meeting for June, the Cedar Shoals intercom upgrade, our playground relocation and upgrade at Timothy, CCHS roof and masonry repair, the grade instruction and grade achievement contract, the Carnegie Math Georgia foundations, and the literacy program purchase. If you would, all in favor of approving those items on our consent agenda, if you would raise your hands and say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, so that is 8-0. So all of those, that motion passes. All of those items are approved on our consent agenda, which brings us to item 10, adjournment. The floor is open.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Davis. Okay, a second by Ms. Hull. Seeing that there are no objections, we are adjourned at